Hello, I'm Seth Lewis with KATC Sports. We're continuing our Mic'd Up series. This time we're in Eunice with Jeff WIllis, the now 6-time national champion head coach of LSU baseball. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me.
Seth, exciting to be here with you today.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, I'm going to start off with this. I know every coach says that every championship feels the same. But when you have a walk-off home run to win it all, that's pretty unique, right?
Well, it is. You know, the other 5 times that we've been able to do that, we've always been on defense, and so and then the scores have kind of been out of hand numerous times as well, and you're just kind of waiting for that last out, and then to have one where you're not really expecting that, and then your hitter's down an 0-2 count, and next thing you know, the big hit comes, and the wind's blowing in, and you don't know if it's going to go, and it gets out of there, and just to see the emotion in those players, I don't know if you can ride it any better than that.
Now, this team obviously only lost 6 games all year. You guys went on a 25-game win streak during the season. But if you could point to one thing, maybe it was during the preseason or maybe it was in some of those early games that you could tell that this team was special, that this team had it, what was it and why?
Well, it looks like it was easy. You know, nothing like that's ever easy. And,
right.
And, you know, there's a lot of things that go through a year and a lot of special moments that occur. And, you know, I think going into our spring season, you know, if you look at, you know, the leadership that we had and then there was some rough patches of us just not playing very, very good baseball and us not doing what we need to do to succeed at the very end. And I thought, you know, our captains and our sophomores that really, you know, took that thing by the reins and really got us to where we are. But, you know, a lot of times you look up and, you know, I tell our guys all the time, there's never been a team that's ever got up to on the podium and accepted a trophy and said it was easy. You know, we breezed through it, did all that kind of stuff. Every single time it's always that, you know, there's a lot of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears that are going to go into that. And same thing with our guys, just how hard they worked. And you love to see kids that work extremely hard, and when they have that moment, they deliver during that moment, and that happened for us.
Now, of course, with the national championship game and with the NJCAA World Series, everybody's going to focus on that Slade Fuller home run. But I know Coy Westbrook was named the MVP of the tournament. Also, you have a guy in Mason Template who was a part of the all-tournament team. Those are both guys that are going to UL to play baseball. Just tell me what they brought to the Bengals this year and what made them so special throughout the whole season.
Well, I think one of the key things is, you know, everyone looks at the last play and the last home run and say that won the game for us. And in that moment, it did. But if you have to go through the entire game to see, you know, if Zach Hester doesn't go out there and strike out 7 out of the first 9 and get us off to a fast start,
sure,
and we score a couple of runs, and then, you know, they take the lead on a 3-2, and nobody, you know, seems to kind of remember in the 8th inning of us, Cameron Horton working a walk and getting on, and we pinch ran, and Brent Falk came off the bench and stole a base to get us into scoring position, and Jacob Richard comes up, gets hit by a pitch, and we got first and second, and then, you know, Coy comes up with a huge hit, left on left, and against a pitcher who'd given up 1 run the entire year. And so that was a huge moment to be able to do that, to get the momentum into our dugout. And then Jacob Barton coming right back out and Coy making a big defensive play. And then, you know, Evan Keller making a tremendous play on kind of a swinging bunt or a bunt, whatever it was, to kind of get us with a lot of momentum. And then Justin Barton punching out 2 guys that, you know, that had really, really good stuff there. And then Brent Hebert coming up and leading off the inning with a hit, you know, and a lot of guys don't remember that. He had to get on base. And then the big key about it is our scouting report had their pitcher throwing all sliders, and Coach Orgain did a tremendous job of preparing that scouting report. That kind of goes, those things go unnoticed a lot of times. And with him getting that scouting report and our hitters knowing when we saw that guy going onto the mound in the 9th inning of you're going to get all sliders, Brent Hebert was able to sit on a slider and get a big hit to lead off the inning, and we don't get the bunt down. Then Mason Template comes up with a you know, he squared a ball up, and in any other day that ball was leaving the yard, and just the conditions didn't allow that. And then Slate again sitting on a slider as well and getting a big hit.
It's a team effort, and like you said, even with your assistant coaches, just the little things that aren't noticed. It's also sometimes in the landscape of Louisiana baseball, I think sometimes maybe it can be slept on, but there's a lot of really good talent here. Obviously, you guys have a national championship to show for it on the junior college level. Delgado has won championships in the past, but then you have LSU that's won national championships. UL has dominated the Sun Belt at times. McNeese, Southeastern, Northwestern State winning it. What does it say about baseball in Louisiana from top to bottom that there is so much success that is breeded here?
Well, I think there's a tremendous amount of talent, but talent is one thing. The other side of that is what type of character and integrity those kids have. And I've said it, I've been here 16 years, and I always say that South Louisiana is a very, very, very special place in that, I feel like it's almost a throwback to how our entire country was 15, 20 years, in that you still have a tremendous blue-collar type of work ethic. Doesn't matter the background of kids or individuals. Everybody has a tremendous amount of integrity and character and work ethic, and we've been able to benefit from that. We've been able to benefit of getting those kids into our program that when they step on the field, they're going to fight. In any type of adversity that they run through, they're going to fight through that adversity, and that comes from the people of South Louisiana. I mean, there's I don't know if you can say how much or even put a price tag on the type of people that we have in South Louisiana and what they've meant, not just to our program, but all those other programs that you mentioned as well. And it starts, when a hurricane happens, people band together. When any type of tragedy happens, if you talk about the Cajun Navy, if you talk about hurricanes that take place, very, very special place, very, very special people. And I've just been a huge privilege to kind of be a part of that culture for the past 16 years.
Absolutely. Now, of course, whenever you're recruiting guys, I'm curious to know, what's your pitch to them, especially, I'm guessing some guys, if they're not coming straight from high school, if they're coming from an LSU or a UL or wherever, there may be a temptation to transfer to another school, sit out a year, and then just play at that school. Is there anything, what's your selling point to kids, and especially in those situations, what do you say to tell them, hey, this may be your better option so you can survey everything?
I think baseball is a little different than those other sports. I think it's way different than football, way different than men's and women's basketball and those transfers. Those kids want to play. They want to play, and the junior college route in the sport of baseball provides a tremendous opportunity where they can be drafted again. There's really, really good baseball on the junior college level. There's really good pitching. And if you find the right program where the coaches are doing their part and challenging those kids to be their best, not just on the field, but off the field and in the classroom, and that school has a track record of success, kids want to get into that. And kids want to win. Anybody wants to win. And I think we've been able to reap the benefit of being able to have kids that want to play at a high level, that come through here and understand that they're going to have a chance to play for a championship in the end.
And just finally, for you, like you said, you've been here for 16 years. This is your 6th championship sitting behind us. I hear a lot of coaches that have won multiple titles say it's one thing to gain success, but it's an entirely different thing to sustain success. To you, what do you think is the most important ingredient to sustaining success over time, and why?
Well, I think, a great question. I think for one is you got to know why you do what you do. And I think, when you know what your why is and why you do things, and you understand in the coaching realm that it's not about winning a lot of games. I don't think we're ever going to – I know I'm not going to go meet my maker and he's going to ask me how many games we won. He will not ask me how many championships that we won. He's going to ask me what did you do with all those young people that were brought your way. And when you know what your why you do the things that you do, and you get those kids on the first day, and we've got to teach them how to run the first base because they're coming from all kinds of different backgrounds and different coaching styles. And we understand that we are teachers, not coaches. We're teachers, and we've got to teach the game and teach, not just the game, but how to operate as human beings. And we have to understand that when those kids get into our program, we've got to be concerned about what kind of father are they going to turn out to be, what kind of husband are they going to turn out to be. And I've always said this, we're truly going to know how good our teams were, not based on our wins and losses and championships, but when all those kids have their own families and what they're going to leave behind with their families and the legacy that they can leave with their children, then their grandchildren, then their great-grandchildren. That's when you know if your program was successful or not.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining me. I know that you have a couple baseball camps. We have a camp going on right now. Are there any more going on this summer? We
got several prospect camps of high school kids coming in over. Sure. You got one on Saturday, one next Wednesday, and then we'll crank back up in August. So we're excited about that, and we'll enjoy what we've done, and I also know that none of that carries over. And when those kids show up in January, if we don't go out there and attack the day and attack our practices, like we just did this past year, then we'll look up at the end of next year and say what happened. So we've got to go to work, and we've got to continue to strive to be excellent in every walk of our days.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining me. Jeff Willis, the now 6-time national champion of the NJCAA World Series. From Eunice, I'm Seth Lewis, KATC Sports.